Thank you so much, Eman, for making the time. And I'm sorry that I have to ask you to do this, but
No, thank you actually. Thank you for giving me the chance to do it.
no, of course. I want to start by asking, how are you? Like, I know it's a stupid, silly question, but I want to ask because just for little.
It's really funny because one fact that have been calming me down so far is that I read, I don't know where, that the hit or the bomb that's going to kill us, we can't hear it. So as long as we're hearing bombs and chilling, we're alive. And also we're better than those who lost their homes, who lost members of families, and sheltering in the schools. I have contacted a friend of mine who was sheltering in the schools and told me that they weren't getting any power, water, food. They are living with another 23 members in one class. And the class is very small. I don't know exactly the size, but it is too small to be I don't know, for 19 members to sleep in it. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
So you still get to, you're at home still, aren't you?
I was at home, but then I have left to my father's place. They had this situation in which they have targeted a house near their house. So they have evacuated in the middle of the night, and they couldn't find any place because the schools are full. And they were in the street for 6 hours. They couldn't use bathroom. So when my father knew that this situation is going to be repeated, he let the girls evacuate to the south, to my uncle's house. And because we have no connection, I don't know anything about them. I don't know even if they are alive. We don't get a lot of news because like 3/4 of Gaza now have no power, have no water, have no internet. And like I told you, we only in my father's house, I only get one hour of power. And after charging the batteries, it leads to, and this is Jawad.
Jawad, hello Jawad, salam Jawad.
The son. He was named after my father. And yeah, the 1 hour of power could lead to 3 hours, 2.5 hours of internet, which allows me to talk about our situations or the diaries that I have been trying to keep them coming on Twitter. And the reason I came to my father's house is that he's now alone with my younger brother, and they are taking care of my aunt. My aunt has special needs and has special equipment, and she needs to be taken care of. She has also mental issues, which is funny because she's the only one who didn't want to evacuate when they threatened the house near them. And that's why my father is here, and he contacted me for help. I was in my father-in-law house, and I came here to help with whatever my father and brother need.
Life under siege, this 75-year siege was already difficult, and the situation was already dire, isn't it? And growing up in Gaza, you've lived through other wars that were imposed, and the attacks imposed in Gaza. War crimes are common. Violations of international law against the Palestinian population in Gaza is common. But this one how is this one? It's happening on such a large scale, you know, already over 3,300 martyrs, you know, Palestinian deaths. Over 1,000 of them are children. And there's white phosphorus bombs and residential towers being attacked. How is this war different for you? Because you've witnessed, yes, am I right? The previous war.
Yeah, of course.
How is this one different? And how is it more more scary for you, seeing as you have, you know, these three beautiful children and you're having to run away with them? You know, it's not just you alone, it's not adults around you that you're just concerned about, but it's children. So how is this all the more scarier for you as a mother?
Because this time the number, I'm really sorry that I'm comparing wars, but this time the number in 2 days or 3 days was even equivalent to wars of 52 days, to wars of more than 2 months. So, and the services we used to have is no longer available. بس يا ماما بس تعالي حبيبتي تعالي. The schools are full. Can you imagine if we have, like, I don't know the number, 1,000 of schools? People have no homes. I read that it's about 1 million person are sheltering in schools right now. We don't know if there are any places safe. No place is safe. And I literally don't know any person right now in Gaza who hasn't lost a member, or one or two, or all of his family, or a beloved person, or a friend. I myself lost 2 teachers in my school, and I still don't know what's the fate of my students. I teach the 9th graders. I don't know if they are alive. I don't know where they have evacuated. I teach at Beit Hanoun, and Beit Hanoun was the first city to evacuate. And when they evacuated to schools, the aggression even became harder, became more violent. So they have evacuated to other places. بس يا ماما بس سواد. Mom. No. I'm really sorry for this.
Please don't apologize.
We don't have much many rooms in the house. Baby, بس استنى شوية. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. How do you keep them distracted? Because I know hearing the bombs is continuous and it's not something you can avoid. So, and you know, children already suffer so much trauma alone growing up, you know. They're diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic, and it's not even something. I've talked to Palestinian mental health therapists and doctors, and they say that PTSD is not even the right diagnosis to describe what the children suffer, the mental health. It's beyond that. What are your concerns when it comes to your children? And how do you keep them distracted during all this? How is a typical day like for you now? How has it drastically changed since?
We brought so many books with us from my house to my father's house. We play together when the power is out. I have downloaded many of Ghibli. Do you know Ghibli? Ghibli Studio?
No.
My neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away.
Oh yeah.
His anime. Yeah. I have downloaded like 3 movies and we watch them. Okay, we watch them. بس يا فيصل بس حبيبي. We watch them. Okay. Let me try to move to another room. Okay. and I have downloaded some of the movies. Okay. We watched them together. We discussed the events together. But my mechanism somehow differs from the last aggressions, because Faisal specifically has grown up and he doesn't believe the lie I have been telling him, that these are fireworks. So my mechanism now is not lying. I'm telling him the truth. I'm telling him what is happening. I'm letting him understand the facts and what that we are in danger right now, and he needs to be a fighter. And to some extent, for a little boy who is in an abnormal situation, he's doing good somehow. But the videos and the images I keep seeing of children who I think are not going to survive the trauma for the rest of their lives keeps me, I don't know, I'm a little bit thankful that my kids are alive so far, which makes me careless about trauma and careless about distracting them. These are issues that I need to deal with them later when this ends, which I really hope that ends well. Yeah.
You keep a diary on Twitter that I've seen you document daily with a tweet, day one, day two. You kind of summarize your initial thoughts to the day and how you end the day, and I guess the significant moments. Is that a sort of coping mechanism for you, or is there a purpose behind it?
We were born in a city eventually made us need to be fighters, and I'm fighting somehow. I'm fighting against this terror, this injustice, and this is we're all fighting in war, and meeting
Sorry, Iman.
my way of fighting.
Sorry, Iman, you
at least I think it is fair for the people here.
Can you hear me, Iman?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, now I can hear you. I'm so sorry, Iman.
Yeah, I can hear you, but yeah,
Oh.
I can hear you now.
Okay, can you repeat that, please? Because that was very important. So I want that to say so, but you were cutting off, so I didn't get what you were saying.
Okay, I was telling you that that we are fighters somehow, and this is our way of resisting. This is our way of fighting somehow, and me telling the truth and writing my memories or writing my own experience in this war is my own way of fighting the terror and fighting the injustice that we are living, and I'm doing my best for the people here. I'm doing what I can, at least.
Also, on Israeli media, the ambassador to the UK, the Israeli ambassador to the UK, she repeatedly claims during interviews with news reporters in the West that Israel is building shelters in Gaza. Israel is allowing humanitarian aid access. Israel is allowing Palestinians Gaza to seek refuge in Egypt. What is your responses to these claims? Because obviously we are informed as well that there is no such thing as shelters. And in fact, when Palestinians are seeking shelter, Israel manipulates the situation and bombs Palestinians on their way to seeking shelter.
No.
But obviously, you just told me earlier as well that there's a continuous cut of electricity supply, food supply, water supply. There is nowhere for you to seek shelters. And in fact, a UN-funded school was bombed where Palestinian families were seeking shelter. So what is your response to the claim? What is the reality that you are actually living and the rest of the Palestinians are living in Gaza?
First, there are no shelters in Gaza. The products and the tools and what can we call it? The materials used in building shelters are not allowed to enter Gaza in so many years. The border was bombed 4 times so far. Rafah border was bombed four times, and it is till the moment I'm speaking with you, it is closed. No aid, nothing has entered. And I don't know how Israel managed to convince the world that there is a place where we can go to and be safe, while my family evacuated to the south. And they are also bombing the south. They are bombing hospitals. They are bombing roads that leads to the south, by the way. Salah ad-Din Street is a long street that connects the north with the south. It was bombed. It was destroyed. And also, even cemeteries were bombed. I have no idea why. Like, do you want to make sure the dead are already dead, or? But the truth that I can tell you loud and clear, that there is no safe place in Gaza, no shelters, nothing.
I'm so sorry, Eman. I can't. It's so frustrating to see, and to sit and watch such like claims, false claims being made. And despite the social media being flooded with such, gruesome footage and real-time evidence of what is actually happening, how does it make you feel? You're a direct victim to all this, and also you're active on social media. How does it make you feel when you see people questioning what is actually happening, who the real victims are in this war? Yeah, how does it? And I'm sure you wouldn't. You see yourself the media biasness in the Western media, and
I don't know if you remember this, but in May 2021, there was this tweet of mine that got viral. And for a moment there, I believed that social media can change things. This tweet reached to Rashida Tlaib, and she read it in the Congress, in her Congress speech. And I believe that the world can change. The world can change things, that to some extent we can change the situation of my country. But then my husband, who is in the US right now, studying international law in Wyoming, told me that the world there doesn't know 1% of you. And whenever we say, I am from Palestine, they say Pakistan, because they don't even that Palestine, they don't know even that Palestine exists. And trust me, what I'm writing is not even, if I wanted to be fair, 5% of what the people are living here, of what we keep constantly feeling here. It's not.
What do you do personally to make sure that, I guess, to make sure that you stay healthy, you stay sane, you stay in control for your children, who obviously you're responsible for? Because it's so easy, isn't it, to kind of lose yourself, you know, even outside of Gaza, you know, where we get to enjoy certain freedom. In Gaza, it's completely, you're shut off from everything. And I know, I'm sorry that I'm asking these type of questions, but I think it's so important to get to the brutal parts and the raw parts. So how do you make sure you do stay sane, you stay okay, that you're healthy enough to look after your kids?
I don't know. I haven't.
Teacher as well, you said. So you're responsible for your students as
I
well.
know. I know. I haven't. I don't know. I haven't thought about being healthy in, like, since this has started. Before this has started, I was um, getting ready to study creative writing at Birkbeck, London, Birkbeck University in London, and everything seemed happy and the future seemed shiny, and uh, my kids had a chance to see their mother successful and eventually try to be like her or better and like their father. And um, these times I don't even think of, I don't know what's the date. I don't know what today is. The only fact I have in my mind is making these kids survive. Even if it takes my soul. I just want them to survive. And I know it's selfish because the mothers who lost their sons and their siblings are not better than me. I know this. But if I had, like, one simple wish in this world, and this could be my last, if it could be my last wish, I want nothing. I really want nothing from this world but my kids to survive. And I don't know. I'm really sorry. I just, this might be the symptoms of no withdrawal of my antidepressant, because I have it ran away, and there are no hospitals or pharmacies open around. And of course, in the hospitals, the priority is to seriously injured people, and the medicine is limited these days, and which puts much pressure on me also, because I need these kids to be healthy, because There's no hospitals to visit in case if one of them broke his arm, broke his feet. And moreover, my kid has allergy and he had this asthma attack in the middle of the night because the air is full of ashes and smoke, and which really threw on Gaza in huge amounts this time. And of course, no need to tell that phosphorus is worse, but they still use.
Can you hear me, Eman?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, yeah, you froze for a moment. You know, I always say there is literally nothing. There's nothing I can say to comfort you. And because I know it sounds pathetic and meaningless, but you are in my thoughts all the time, all the time. Like I said, we were meant to talk at in the morning. It was Fajr time for me, 6 a.m. And then I was going insane just thinking about your safety. And yes, it was so relieving to hear back from you. I talk to everyone, obviously, talking about Gaza. I'm sure you see online. You know, there is, it's all anyone's talking about, which is a good thing, which is a good sign. Anyway, one of the groups of people I've been engaging in conversations with is mothers. And what's typically said, and I think I also mentioned it to you in the messages, I can't imagine, because I actually showed your tweet, the one you mentioned that every night you go to sleep, you sleep hugging your children. And I don't want to mention the rest of the tweet, but you think about how if you'll be taken away together by a night bombing. And when I show these type of tweets to other mothers out there, they say they can't imagine being in your situation. They can't imagine being a mother at this time. They just can't fathom what you're going through. But to you, is it important that mothers in the international community put themselves in your situation and force themselves to confront how you must be feeling? Is it important to do that to be able to make a change?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
So is it important for mothers to put themselves in your position and force themselves to really think about how you're feeling, to make a change and to understand your concerns, even though we can never understand the extent of it? But
No, not at all. I could never wish anybody, even my enemies, to be in this situation. Never. I could never even ask them to imagine. I could never ask anything from the world. I'm just.
what do you ask for? What do you want to know that people are doing out here for you and for the rest of people?
I would ask them, and I said this repeatedly, to read thoroughly and to think logically about what is happening here, so that they can actually find out what is right and what is wrong. And to the few people who have been talking and continually writing about this and trying to really understand the truth, specifically like you, like thankful is a really humble word that doesn't do you good. And I really know and I really understand what it's like to be in the world of power and choosing to stand with the people who are weak and to be the voice of the voiceless. And no, I don't want them to be mean. I don't want them to be in my shoes. I don't want them to think, what would they do if they were in this situation? I would never even, I would, I would even erase the pain I have caused it when I wrote the tweet, because I know that you can hear me, right?
Yes, now I can hear you.
I have this.
Are you okay, Eman?
Yeah, I just had a phone call and I pressed call. I'm a little bit dork with technology and stuff, and I didn't know this went out and stuff.
No problem. And another question, Eman. So when October the 7th happened, you know, like I said, you grew up witnessing and experiencing previous aggressions against Gaza. So when October the 7th came, did you assume that, is a bit of a sadistic question really, but did you assume that it might be like the previous wars? And at what moment did you realize that this war consists of one where Israel is crossing all red lines and that this is different? Because obviously, each night the world's heads are being whipped in different ways, because I guess one of the biggest war crime violation was when Israel bombed. Well, you know, they're claiming that they're not trying to take responsibility for it, and they're rejecting all accusations. But you know, the Al Ahli Baptist Hospital bomb, where instantly 500 Palestinians were murdered. Again, that's one of the biggest war crimes. But was there something happened before that where you, as a civilian there, realized, no, this is different. This is, I don't know how to describe it, but this is basically like, it must feel like the end of the world.
I understand it, but we can't say that when did Israel cross all the red lines, because it has been constantly
Yeah.
crossing. And the moment I found out that this is going to be different is the moment that it happened, because whenever there's a war or aggression, Gaza is a small place that has been besieged for many years now. And with every war, with every destruction, with every killing and murders, it loses supplies and it loses choice to survive. We don't have much to survive on. We don't have before the aggression actually had power for 4 hours, also because of Israel. No, we had polluted water. The fishermen had limited. Okay. خذوا من البشرة. Okay. خذوا من البشرة. Okay. He wants his allowance. And yeah, the fisherman has limited space to fish from, and whenever they cross the limited, they are being targeted, they are being killed. Before this happened, I saw footage, I saw videos of the Israeli soldiers hitting people who were praying in Al-Aqsa Mosque, no reason, violently. So I thought this suffering, it's gonna lead to something. This, whenever whenever you find someone who is going to bully you daily and constantly, hitting you and cutting off all of the supplies and simply wants you to die. I think if you were born fighter, you're gonna end up fighting. And this is what the people are doing here. And it was only a reaction for the people wanting peace and wanting a life of dignity. This is why the 7th of October happened. And I knew that there's going to be consequences. But to some extent, I can say to myself that at least we did something. At least we did something to the bully. At least we told the bully that you are a bully. I don't know if the Palestinians are going to have ever a life of peace and dignity. And for a moment there, I keep thinking that maybe the Palestinians were doomed to misery. But I'm telling you right now that all what the Palestinians want is to live in peace and to have a life of dignity. Trust me, they don't want anybody killed. They don't want anybody to be homeless, and they for sure don't want anybody to live what they are living.
Eman, I think, I think you shared enough. And I'm sorry again that I had to ask all these questions, and I know how uncomfortable it is and how much you must be hurting. Is there anything else you would like to say yourself if I haven't addressed anything. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I no, I think I have said enough, and I really want to thank you for this chance, and I hope so many people understand the situation here, and I hope so many people try, if they can, if they have the power, to stop it. Just please stop it.
I wanted to, oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of silly debates that happen online, where people talk about, do protests these protests that are organized, do they help? Um, do they make the Palestinians feel better? Does it bring any attention? What is your take on this when you see, online, all these countries and pro-Palestinians coming together, human rights coming together to organize protests and marches?
Everyone is fighting in his own way, in whatever he can. Protesting is a shape of fighting. Protesting is a shape of resistance. Writing and doing interviews with voices from Gaza and from witnesses on massacre and from people who are living this suffering and protesting, and I don't know, I can't think of any type of helping, but somehow it helps. I think it does. It helps it grow some kind of familiarity with what's going on. But I'm not a very judgmental person, and I'm really thankful for anybody who could do the minimum thing, even like writing during this whole genocide, like writing only one tweet. I'm also thankful. I'm not here to judge. I'm a Palestinian. I'm a Gazan who could raise awareness about this, and the only person I can judge is myself. The other world has a choice of choosing which side to stand with. I'm not going to force anybody to choose. They can read themselves, they can watch the videos themselves, they can make researches. Internet is available, books are available, and most important, minds are available.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for your time.